Come on in. Good morning, everybody. We are at our very first vlog here in the Treehouse, and I picked, I'm not gonna lie, two of my favorite people on the planet that live close to me because they're literally like my neighbors. It's Dave and Holly Combs. Guys, thank you so much for being here in the cramped Treehouse, which I love.
I love it too. It's awesome.
This is wonderful. Thank you for having us.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, I really wanted to grab some people that artists. You guys are artists. You guys are teachers. You're influencers. You do stuff in the community. Like, I respect you guys so much, and I love what you're doing, and I epically want to people to see more and hear more about what you're doing. So we could go the gamut that you guys have influence in, which is awesome. So I was just hoping if you could let us know first and foremost, like I know Department of Public Works. So can you just let people who have no idea possibly, which they're going to get schooled here, what do you guys do?
We do a lot, but just to be very focused on what it is we do, we use positive words to empower people through art and education. So that's our mission, but in even a smaller nutshell, we actually encourage people for a living. That's our passion.
Right.
We love people deeply, so that's what we do at the Department of Public Works.
Though. All right, so just so I let everybody know the upfront. All right, these guys had been on, like, okay, Holly's done a TED Talk, which I will have a link to at the end of this, and they also, okay, I'm just gonna, the elephant in the room, you got to tell real quick. All right, they even did a video about banning the awfulness that is the font Comic Sans, right? Mm-hmm. So can you tell me real quick about that? Like, how in the world, by the way, how did you guys even get tied into that?
Yeah, sure. Well, that's actually kind of how we got together. Holly was still in school, in graphic design school, and I had finished school and I was working, and I said she had to design an entire gallery guide for a major museum here in town.
Oh, really?
In Comic Sans, they required it.
Oh, they wanted it?
They wanted it. They required it. Yes, and she came to me and said, "Dave, this terrible thing has happened. I have to design a whole gallery guide in Comic Sans." And I said, "Well, why don't we just ban it?" And she thought I was a genius.
And I actually just at that moment knew we'd probably marry in the next few months.
That's
that was
hilarious.
Just the coolest thing anyone could ever say. Who bans a font?
Right.
We do.
Tell us first, like, what is your background? I know you said graphic design. Mm-hmm. Like, how did you guys end up, though? Like, what led you to starting the Department of Public Works, the stuff you guys do with the Juvenile Detention Center, which we'll definitely talk about. So,
mm-hmm. It would be nice to say we had this grand 10-year plan and we, like, really projected what we wanted to do, but it wasn't anything like that. It was very trial and error. The first thing that we really did together was banning Comic Sans, and then from that I started making stickers and trading them with people all over the world. People would write and say, "Thank you so much for doing something against this horrible font. It's everywhere in my country." And these were countries I hadn't even heard of sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, very obscure places. And so I would send them stickers, and they would send me stickers, and I figured out that there was this whole underground movement of sticker art.
Oh, yeah.
So that led us to produce a zine, which is a DIY publication, similar to a magazine, usually smaller and black and white, called Peel. Mm-hmm. And then that grew, and it eventually became a full-size, full-blown publication that was distributed through all over the United States and abroad. And through that, we met Matthew Hoffman, the creator of the You Are Beautiful project. And we put up a big You Are Beautiful on the Murphy Arts Center in Fountain Square. And that got in our blood. We were like, we have to do more of this because we loved it so much. And that's kind of what sparked the Department of Public Works was, what if we could encourage people all the time through public art and through education?
When we put up the You Are Beautiful sign in 2008, that's a great way to say it. It got in our blood the idea that words have an immense amount of power. I mean, so much power that they can destroy lives and they can build people up. And that power has to be really respected.
Yeah.
And so what You Are Beautiful did in meeting Matthew Hoffman is just, it changed the trajectory of our life. We decided we wanted to encourage people for a living and thought, that sounds a little crazy when you wake up in the morning and say, I want to encourage people for a living. But it also means you have job security forever, because everyone needs encouragement always.
Yeah.
All people. And I started working in detention centers because I felt like I wanted to serve the unwanted, the unloved, maybe the forgotten.
Yeah.
And getting in there, I realized that just my spark of hope and joy and encouraging words brought them from absolute devastation to a tiny bit of hope. And just seeing the power of that encouragement made me think, when the guards sat down with the students in detention centers, maybe the guards need it, and maybe the government officials need it, and maybe we all need it. And I decided, I think we can make it's a mission out of just encouraging people.
But yeah, and then what you guys do at schools, which I think is so cool. You've gone in and I've seen you take pictures, and they're involved in creating like almost like a visual image with the letters filled in with them of You Are Beautiful. But if you could elaborate too, I'm just curious, because obviously I have a crazy passion for what creativity can do beyond just make a pretty picture, put it on a wall.
Right.
So especially with what you're doing at the detention center and working with kids, like, how would you describe like because you guys are artists, right? You're artists in many aspects of that word, but how have you been able to like tap into that? Like, how have you taken creativity and art and the arts, etc., and like used it to be a weapon of awesomeness?
That's a great question.
That is a great question. I feel like art is a gateway for us. Like, it gives us something to kind of just like a ball to toss back and forth, you know?
Yeah.
We create beautiful art when we work with anybody.
Right, yeah.
But that's not the end goal. The end goal is the person, the person that we're working with, and we're trying to encourage them, trying to develop within them a sense of hope, a sense of their own inner beauty.
Yeah.
So whenever we get that opportunity, we use art. So we teach actual art skills, like drawing a self-portrait, for example.
Yeah.
So we'll teach kids how to draw their self-portraits. But it's not just about that. It's about them looking at themselves, seeing themselves as beautiful, inside and out. And when we do that, I start to get emotional, because it's such a beautiful experience just to get to work with these kids. Some of them, when we show them their photograph that they're going to work from, they say, "Oh, I'm ugly. I can't look at myself." Yeah. And some of them even have wadded up their picture and thrown it away, and we reprint it. But by the end, they'll hold their self-portrait that they've drawn and say, "Looks just like me. I'm so proud."
So we take 700 kids' portraits, scan them in, and put them in the words of a unified message, often "You Are Beautiful," and we hang that in the school to remind them that they committed to use their words for kindness and not to destroy others. And this bullying thing, I don't know how the initiative is going, but I think we just don't even use that term, in the sense that we just say, you have to commit to ask yourself, every word that comes out of my mouth, is it for the purpose of hope and kindness, or is it for the purpose of destroying someone? And we just have to make it a discipline to do that. But this message hangs in their school, and they have to sit down at lunch every day and go, I committed to that. And it's a way to remind them, a living legacy for them, that'll stay there forever. So these crowd murals really have a lot of power.
So one of my favorite things that Holly talks about is her superpower, which superpower is blank. I hope people can put like in that spot. Can you, if you don't mind, do you mind elaborating what your superpower is?
Well, I do. I love to talk about this. It's a joy to me to finally be able to be proud of my superpower.
Yeah.
I think a lot of superheroes hide what it is that's firing them up and getting them passionate, and I just want to be bold and empower people to know that dyslexia is my superpower. And I find a lot of dyslexics. Actually, I find a lot of them in the detention centers. Amazingly,
really?
My brilliant kids are there because they had such struggles in school that they then acted out and had behavioral issues. Okay, well, I had a really hard time in school too, so I actually have a lot of compassion for that process, and dyslexia isn't talked about enough. People don't even know how to say the word. So say it, dyslexia, just say it with me. It's an amazing gift, because 3 of the 5 guys, and actually one lady on Shark Tank, the people running this world are dyslexics because they're geniuses. Their mind doesn't work like everyone else.
Yeah, well, they just don't fit quite in the I won't call it the mold, but like the silo. That's what I kind of like to think of it. Like,
for sure.
In whatever silo But what I love about Holly is, and everybody should be listening to Holly, of course, on this. I mean, beyond that, is that like I love how it's taking what society will tell you often, like, nah, you know, like that's you're not quite fitting, and that's not right.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how you call it your superpower. So you're gonna want to know. Well, one, of course, I'll post as much as I can about getting links to you guys. But if I want to find out more about Dave and Holly, and especially if I want to own, okay, I have them on my car and I've got them in my studio in the basement. So I've got you guys' stickers. Where can I find out more about you guys and connect and get involved, whatever I can do?
Our main site is dpwords.org, but Holly also is a public speaker, and she has her own website, which is hollycombs.com. So especially if you're interested in the public speaking aspect of what Holly does, hollycombs.com. If you're interested in more of the other programs, the public art and stuff like that, that's dpwords.org. dpwords.org.
Okay, so one of the things I want to do, Dave and Holly are my first ones. I really want an art project that we all work on like every week, and we're just going to keep adding to it.
Great.
But I really want, you guys are awesome because I've seen what, your stickers and everything else you work on. So you guys are the first. So of course I've got epic amounts of Sharpies and
Sweet.
oh yeah, and I've even got the paint ones, which if you haven't picked those up, those are awesome. But point being is, so we're gonna catch, if Dave and Holly don't mind, have them start it off, and then every week I'm just gonna have whoever's in here, you got to add to it. I don't really care if you're an artist, you're gonna have to draw with me. So all right,
It's a collaboration.
I know, right? Okay, yeah. Thanks so much, guys. You guys are inspirational. I hope you guys love hearing from Dave and Holly. You got to get online, research, find out more information about them, get involved, own a sticker, get it on whatever you're riding, because it's really awesome. So thanks again, guys, and keep up the awesome work, and I hope to catch up again with you guys soon. But we'll have all those links on there coming up soon, so you can watch. You gotta watch your TED Talk, right? It's epic, and it's only like what? How
8 minutes.
8 minutes. You got 8 minutes. Take a break. 8 minutes. You gotta watch it, and then you gotta watch Band Comic Sans so you can laugh your head off. Anyway, everybody have an awesome Monday morning, and we'll see you next week.